Absolutely. Here's a rewritten, tightened up, and more polished version of your commentary while preserving your voice and the depth of analysis. One of the first things that really stood out to me early in the fight between Wladimir Klitschko and Tyson Fury was how uncomfortable and even confused Klitschko looked. Fury's unorthodox, herky-jerky style clearly disrupted his rhythm. He was using constant head movement, bending and twisting at the waist, shifting angles with his shoulders, dropping his hands, and throwing in a variety of feints. The effect was clear. Klitschko was perplexed. He looked utterly baffled. Now, Klitschko is historically a slow starter, so I didn't think too much of it in the opening rounds. But by the third or fourth round, it became obvious that he wasn't making the necessary adjustments. He looked unsure of how to respond, and that's not something you often say about one of the most disciplined and tactically sound heavyweight champions of the last 20 years. Tyson Fury, to his credit, executed a brilliant game plan. Much to my surprise, he completely outclassed Klitschko, one of the sport's great tacticians. I think you could make a solid argument that Wladimir won only 1 or 2 rounds at most. The judges' cards were a little closer, but for my money, Fury pitched a near shutout. A big part of Fury's success came from something the late, great Emanuel Steward had identified in him years earlier, his remarkable determination. That inner drive was fully on display in this fight. Fury's movement, timing, and constant activity kept Klitschko guessing. His head movement, footwork, control of range, and ability to tie up on the inside, all of it worked together beautifully. He never let Klitschko get comfortable or fall into any kind of rhythm. To be fair, it's not uncommon in heavyweight history for an aging great to struggle in the twilight of his career. We've seen that with Joe Louis against Marciano, Ali, against Holmes against Tyson, and even Tyson himself against McBride. But in Klitschko's case, I don't think age alone explains what happened. He may have been past his prime, sure, but most expected him to still have too much for Fury. And Fury just proved that notion wrong. One can't help but wonder how different this might have been if Emanuel Steward had still been in Klitschko's corner. That's not a knock on Jonathan Banks, but you're comparing him to one of the greatest trainers of all time. Steward had a unique ability, not just to offer tactical insight, but to deliver it at exactly the right time, in exactly the right way. He knew how to motivate Klitschko specifically, how to get through to him in those critical moments. Without that, I think Wladimir lacked the urgency and the in-fight guidance that might have helped him adjust. You think back to the early rounds of the first fight with Samuel Peter. Emanuel told Wladimir flat out, "You're losing the fight." That kind of honest, timely push just didn't seem to be there tonight. And again, I'm not saying it would have changed the outcome entirely, but I do believe Klitschko could have given a better effort, a more competitive performance, with Steward in his corner. In the end, Fury fought a nearly flawless fight. He was disciplined, creative, and determined from the opening bell to the final round. He made Klitschko look old, slow, and gun-shy. And while it's true that Wladimir was clearly in decline, Fury's performance was so sharp, so well executed, that it would be unfair to chalk the result up solely to Klitschko's age. If there's a rematch, I wouldn't completely count Klitschko out. He's a great champion and deserves the chance to try to reclaim his title. But without Emanuel Steward, I don't like his chances nearly as much. Fury's game plan was just that good, and his